There comes a point where earning more is no longer enough, because wealth is not determined by income alone, but by what income becomes over time. Hi folks, I hope you're doing well, and today I'd like to discuss Income Engine 3, which is capital. We've discussed Income Engine 1, which is the need to develop a skill so that you can create value and thus earn an income. We've discussed Income Engine 2, which is building a scalable business so that you can use the concept of leverage to scale up that income. And now I want to discuss capital, which is how do we compound that income. So skill creates income, business multiplies that income, but neither creates lasting wealth on its own, because income, even large income, can be spent. A good example of that you generally see is people who win the lotto, hashtag I blew it, or people who blow through an inheritance. So income on its own, even large income, can be spent. Wealth begins when income is converted into capital. So what is capital? Capital is not just money. Capital is money that has been positioned to grow. It is invested, it is owned, it is deployed with the expectation that it will produce more value over time. I'll repeat that. Capital is not just money. Capital is money that has been positioned to grow. It is invested, it is owned, it is deployed with the expectation that it will produce more value over time. And this, for me, is the shift that a lot of people never fully make. This, for me, is the difference between rich and wealthy. Because rich people have a high income, but that doesn't make them wealthy. They earn more, but they don't retain and deploy. So their lifestyle grows, their expenses grow to match their income, but their wealth does not. Wealth is not built by income alone. It is built by what you keep and what you compound. Because capital has a very unique property. It grows over time. When capital is deployed correctly, it begins to compound, it generates a return, it's growth and growth, it builds on itself. And over time, even small differences in allocation creates massive differences in outcome. This is why you can have two people earning the same income, but ending up in completely different financial positions over 10, 20, 30 years. One is consuming, one is compounding. That is the concept of compounding, compound interest. The difference is not effort. The difference is not income. The difference is allocation. In the wealth architecture framework, skill creates value, business multiplies value, but capital compounds value. Capital is income that is invested, owned, and deployed to compound your value. And compounding is where wealth begins to scale beyond your efforts, beyond your skill and beyond your efforts. If you only earn, you stay dependent on effort. So if you're stuck on skill of Income Engine 1, which is skill, you're only earning, you stay dependent on effort because your income is directly related to your skill and your effort, what you do with that skill. If you build a business, you create leverage, which gives you the ability to now grow that income at a faster pace than if you were just, if it was just a one-on-one ratio of this is my skill and I'm selling it for time. But when you learn to deploy capital, again, this is the major shift from rich to wealthy. When you learn to deploy capital, when you learn to retain and deploy, your wealth begins to grow without your effort. So why do most people struggle to do this? That is what I'll be discussing in my next video. Why most people never build capital, even when they earn enough. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.